here. Thank you all for your patience and joining us this evening. I promise you, this will not be a waste of your time. We all about business. We all about making sure that if you all have taken time this evening to be among some of the greats that we are grooming and helping to help flourish in this industry, that is going to be worth your time. Now, there's a couple things that I want to just kind of share with you about how the flow of tonight is going to go. This is an information session. This is of interest. If you get inspired or enlightened by something that you're going to hear tonight, then that should be your motivation to take action. We are a very action-oriented organization. We don't have to sell you on this opportunity. We got plenty of people out here that's making it happen where we don't have to sell it. All we do is we just kind of inform you and put people in front of you to say, no matter what background you come from, no matter what walk of life you've experienced, this is still opportunity season. And so I'm glad to know that we have two powerful young ladies that's going to be sharing their stories tonight. And, I just want to kind of just start out again by introducing myself. I know Mr. Jamal Brown kind of gave a little headway, but again, my name is Vincent King. I have been a licensed agent since the year of 2007. I have not punched the clock for anybody since 2007. Commission only. I've done what most would say, relatively speaking, I believe fairly well. I raised my family during this opportunity. I put my kids through private school during this opportunity. I'm able to kind of take care of my family, extended family with this opportunity, and have been able to do so for a long period of time. When I first started in this opportunity, I was a single father raising my son before I remarried and basically now have two other additions. So I have three children, a wife, very heavily involved in different ministries, along with running businesses, mentoring, coaching, things of that nature. But I'm gonna tell you, it did not come without the struggles. This industry has paid me more money than I've been able to make in anything else that I've done. Last I checked, I've been able to to have the opportunity to make more money than most surgeons, doctors, attorneys, lawyers within a yearly basis. My best year to date in this industry has been right at close to $750,000. And I'm nothing. I'm a country boy from Fayetteville, North Carolina, y'all. I was brought up in a single parent household, and all I know is that I always bet on me. That's one of the biggest things, coming from the background and the history of as far as how I was brought up. Raised in the tobacco fields and, raised primarily with my grandfather, between my grandfather and my mother. Hard work never was an issue. It was always been, had to be a part of the right opportunity. And so what better opportunity could it be to be in something that's recession proof, to be in something where we know right now, as we're dealing with COVID-19, where the death rates are, unfortunately are constantly going up, and people are in fear of their lives right now, that we are still in a position where our industry and our business is not skipping a beat. Now we have the opportunity where we can work from home. You can do this business from home. You can do this business out in the field. You can do this business if you have a cell phone and a laptop. That's what I love about this, is that as long as you got some drive, determination, and you can be coached, you can make a lot of money doing this. And so we have a very strategic training program. I know a lot of times people are turned off by the insurance industry because they've been around a lot of people who feel like that all insurance agents do is try to go around and sell you something. But I promise you, I don't have to sell this. If I gotta sell somebody on the ideal of taking care of their family, they're not my client. That's not who I want to do business with. Why should I have to sell you on the fact of being able to take care of your family? If somebody has to sell you on taking care of your family, you're doing it the wrong way. What we do is we educate, we inspire, we lead, and we show direction to people to be able to do that. So there's a lot of misconceptions out there about the industry. There's a lot of people that have some different hangups about the industry in regards to it being commission and there's not a base salary. But I promise you right now, everything that you do in this world is centered around a commission. Because if you have a job right now and they get tired of you and they say they don't want you at that job no more, guess what? Your commission has just been cut off. Your commission has just been cut off. And so tonight, we're going to go through this path, and I want to introduce to you without delay. I just want to just kind of lay the foundation to let you know, First Generation Life, we are a marketing organization where we train, coach, and develop you to greatness. Okay, we that's what we do. We are a marketing organization where we train, coach, and develop you to greatness. We pour into you so that way you can get the fullest potential out of what's already in you, so that way it can be developed in a way to where you can take care of your family, to be the first generation to leave the generation that's coming up behind you the things that's necessary so we can break some of these generational paths and patterns that we have been accustomed to. We do that by way of utilizing life insurance or final expense insurance as the vehicle. See, understand this, folks. All you need sometimes is the right opportunity to be put into the right vehicle. And then all you have now is an organization that's going to show you how to put the gas in the tank, and you just have to put your pedal to the metal. And if you put those ingredients together, there's nothing stopping you but air and opportunity. There's nothing stopping you but air and opportunity. We have individuals in this industry right now within our organization that earn anywhere from $20,000 a year because they want to, because they don't go to work, to multiple millions of dollars per year. These are the individuals that you collectively going to be around day by day, listening to on conference calls, being coached and mentored by. And I promise you that at one point in time, these same individuals was on a call or in a meeting just like this, being exposed to this opportunity. All you have to be is willing to be able to sit down, educate yourself in a pre-licensing class that takes less time than I would say that it takes. Nothing like the real estate exam, nothing like going to a cosmetology school, nothing like, we're talking about a 2-day class, or if you're more or less where you don't want to sit in a class and you like to do it on demand, you can actually do it on demand at your own leisure, and then go to the state of North Carolina and pass an exam. Pass an exam. You may not get it the first time, but I promise you, one of my closest partners right now, it took him 4 times to pass the exam, but he makes a couple $1 million a year doing exactly what I'm talking about now, and I promise you, he has not been doing it for the last 25 years of his life. This is just what it takes to be able to get the ball rolling. You got the support system, you got the people around you. So tonight, what I want to do is I want to introduce these 2 young ladies. These 2 young ladies are near and dear to my heart, first and foremost, because I saw them in the very beginning. I saw them in the very beginning when they were very new and not having a lot of know-how about how the business of insurance actually was working, but they were hungry, they were thirsty, and they were determined. But they did not come without their share of ups and downs. And oftentimes, we'd had to talk them off the ledge a few times, because everybody gets to that point of just understanding, like, man, am I in over my head? Is this really for me? But we got to really understand that how life and business work. Sometimes our personal life can start interfering and running over into our business life. And when those things come together, we start to get overwhelmed. And so that's why we focus a lot on personal development here. If I can help change the way you think, I can help change the way you make money. And I'm going to say that again for some of you. If I can help change the way you think, I can help change the way that you make money. And so the first young lady I want to bring up is because she's been with me the least amount of time, but she came in and she made an impact. This young lady, I like to call her, my go-getter country girl, because she makes no bones about it that she is from the country, from the sticks. She loves it. That's where she's born and bred. But she goes out here and makes this thing happen. I want to introduce y'all all the way from Warsaw, North Carolina, Miss Alicia Merle. Please come off and just introduce yourself to the family tonight.
Good evening, Mr. King. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our FGL Opportunity Call. My name is Alicia Merle, and I am from Warsaw, North Carolina. I've been doing life insurance now for 2.5 years under the wonderful leadership of Mr. King. But before I get into me, I just want to give it back to you, Mr. King. I just want to say thank you so much for your leadership, for coaching me, for guiding me. It's not been a time where I have called you and it may have been about insurance. It may have been about what credit card, or when my score was low, what company I can go to help, boost my credit. As far as getting my first house, what lending company should I use? I mean, you're always just pointing to me. Sometimes now I don't even have nothing to call you about, but I just may feel like I need that gas or that fire. And every time I call you, you're always pointing to me. So because of you, I am who I am today. And I just want to say thank you.
Well, you're a superstar in your own right. You can get all the gas you want, but if you ain't willing to go and empty the tank, it's nothing but wasted gas. So I just want to commend you for your hard work and being obedient to the system and the philosophies that we teach here. Thank you so much. I'm gonna be coming back to you in just a second. The next young lady I want to introduce is what I call she's kind of been one of the ones that's been hanging tight. One of the tight grip. I had to keep a tight grip on this one because she's so full of energy. She's a fireball. She came out the gate with a business mindset. She was introduced to insurance prior to me meeting her, but she just wasn't in the right setup, and she needed some of the right tutelage and mentorship. And so, all the way from Greenville, North Carolina, I want to introduce everybody to Miss J. Jackie Daniels, y'all. Miss Daniels, come off the line and just introduce yourself to everybody real quick.
Hey, Mr. King, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead.
All right. Hello, everybody. Yes, I am Jacqueline J. Daniels out of Greenville, North Carolina. And let me tell you, I am super, super, super excited about what I do. I truly love it. I've been in the industry for 6 years now. And I haven't punched the clock in 6 years now. And that in itself, being a single mom of a 17-year-old and a 14-year-old has been really a blessing to me because, I'm divorced. I was once married. I thought I did it all right. Yet life happened, and here I am, right? So, I had some decisions to make. I know because when life, as you know, it is going one way, and then overnight it changed. You literally go into a culture shock, right? And so I found this industry, and it has been a blessing to me. Just being able to be there for my children, because my son, he's had 7 surgeries, and my daughter, she's had 1 open heart surgery, and just going through all of those things, having the freedom to be able to be there for them. Because let me share this with you. I remember when I worked at my last job in 2014, and my son was going to have to go back to Chapel Hill. My boss told me that I was running out of PTO. I don't know what she thought that meant. However, mommy duties came first. I had to make sure that I was going to be there for my children. So I made up in my mind that day that I was going to have to do something different. And throughout my journey, I just got to say that now, I want to tell you guys, Mr. King did not tell us to say these things, but he has been great. He's been a blessing to my family over the years, just keeping me grounded because, when you have a great leader, you can't help but be great. Okay. And he's always pulling out the greatness out of myself and everybody on the team. And I will forever be grateful because I know that as long as I'm linked up with Mr. King and First Generation Life, I know that we're not going anywhere but to the top. So thank you, sir.
Appreciate you, Ms. Daniels, and throwing it back to you as well. Thank you for, just taking the tough love, because that's it. You don't get where you are without that. And FGL will not be where they are without our CEOs, co-CEOs, Mr. and Mrs. Eric and Linda Howard. They are the CEOs and the visionaries behind First Generation Life. I operate as executive vice president and support in the leadership staff here, mainly with the training, development of the agency, making sure that the things that's needed for this agency to grow into a multi-million-dollar cross-state, cross-nation agency. I'm telling you, all are in a ground for opportunity. We recently transitioned over to rebranding ourselves about almost 15 months ago. We were doing extremely well in another opportunity, but we were limited within our territory. We were limited in regards to our growth. And, some things happen and some things open up for us to be able to put ourselves in a situation where we can take our talents, like LeBron said when he was going to Miami, we wanted to take our talents to South Beach. But so we wanted to be able to expand, let the brakes off, because there's people all across this country that's looking for an opportunity. And so that's why First Generation Life was formed, because of the visionaries that we have here with First Generation Life, Mr. and Mrs. Howard, and all of our advisory board support and all those individuals that you're going to meet as you go along throughout this journey. So let's jump right into this information, because I know time is precious. And I'm just going to be throwing some questions out there to these ladies, because what I'm trying to get you all to do is just feel the beat. Feel the vibe as far as how we move, how we operate, and really understand from the perspective. I see we got some brothers on the line, some fellas on the line tonight. Ladies and gents. Now, fellas, I will tell you that we do well at this business, but nobody does this business like the women. The women just have a way about I mean, I love our men. I love them. But if I can have me an organization or a team of individuals where we had, just that balance of the men and the women, and the women are what really keeps the brothers and the men on their toes around here. They keep the men on their toes because they're just natural go-getters. Because they have to, like these single ladies that you're going to hear from, they know they have so many hats and so many roles that they have to play. And so when it comes to their doing what's best for their children and for their families and being able to have the opportunity to make some income, it's no different in that. And so that's what I love about this opportunity, that it's an equal opportunity, that no matter what you've ever done prior to in your life, you don't have to be, I tell people, you don't have to be great at sales. This is not about how good you are at sales. Trust me when I tell you that. You just have to be good at knowing how to follow and learn and commit to a system and commit to your own personal self-growth and self-worth. If you come into the game with that mindset, we can give you the ingredients for everything else. And so I want to go to Miss Merle. I want to start with you. Talk to us briefly about, how many, I don't know if you said it in the beginning, but how many children you have and how long have you been operating in the role of a single parent?
Okay, I have two kids. I have my son who's about to be 7 years old. His name is Amir. And then I have Aaliyah who's 11 years old. So I have two kids. I've been a single parent for 10 years.
Okay, good stuff. Ms. Daniels, I know you talked a little bit briefly about your children and the story, but what was your background? Talk to us a little bit about your background prior to the insurance industry. I know you said you was married, divorced. So talk to us a little bit about your history that led you to this point of getting into this industry.
Okay, yeah, sure. So prior to the insurance industry, I've done a lot of things. I've wanted to be an entrepreneur a long time. So I've tried everything from Melaleuca, Mary Kay. I did some Avon. I was doing 5 links. I've done a lot of things. My last professional job outside of network marketing, I was working in behavioral health. I worked as a paralegal. I have 4 degrees on my wall. Yes, my undergrad was in criminal justice, and then I have my first master's was in organizational management, and my second one was my MBA. Yet, what I realized when I worked my last job, that I still had more months than money. And so my businesses were filling in the gaps. I still wasn't making enough. And that's what led me to doing something different.
I'm sorry, stay right there and talk to us for a second, Ms. Daniels, about what doing something different, how did insurance come into play? Because I know you were with I know you was in another situation prior to getting with First Generation Life and our previous endeavor. So what made insurance attractive to you with all those things that you had going on?
Okay, yeah. When I first started in business, I would always, bring my children to the meeting. And when my daughter was 11 years old, she told my neighbor, she said, "Look, my mama got a business. You need to go talk to her." That's all she said. So she recruited him into my business, and so he worked with me for about a year. And then he was going back to insurance because he was in it before, and he was like, "Let's go to Raleigh." And so I was like, okay. So we went to Raleigh, and and I saw our presentation, and just the thought of helping people, it really appealed to me because I never really understood insurance because it just really, wasn't taught, you know what I mean, in my community. So I really didn't know much about it, but I did know that I liked how it sounded. And I like, how the people were saying that they didn't work regular jobs. And I liked the kind of money they said they were making. And so it was attractive to me. And so I was like, well, okay, sign me up. Whatever I got to do, I'll do it. And so that was, when was that? That was March 11th, 2014. And I was fully licensed by April 2nd.
Wow. Wow. Good stuff. Now, I thank you for sharing that. And I know, Ms. Merle, that you come from a different story, that you probably ever saw yourself doing insurance. So talk to us a little bit about your background, country girl from Warsaw, North Carolina. I know you transitioned from, the ATL roots a little bit. So tell us a little bit about your background and a life-defining moment, if you feel comfortable sharing something that happened to you in one of your jobs that you was at. Talk to us a little bit about that and say, why maybe that's motivating you to find something different.
Okay, so when I was married 10 years ago, whatever. And I went through my divorce. I was working for a company called Murphy USA. So I was a store manager. They had an opportunity for me to transfer to Georgia, and I always went back and forth, Georgia, North Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina. I always went back and forth, and they had an opportunity for me to get away. And so I took the opportunity. I left. My store was brand new in Ellenwood, Georgia. It opened up in September, and I was robbed at gunpoint December 17th. When I was robbed, I took some time out of work because that messed with my psyche a little bit. I took about 3 weeks out of work. And then when I came back to work, I'm not sure how it happened, but I woke up one morning heading to work, and now my car's sitting on bricks. So I went through a lot in Georgia. I went through a lot. I thought the store manager thing was going to work for me. I really enjoyed it. I liked it. But, once I got robbed, I realized they didn't really care because they didn't make any changes. They still had it where it was easy to access me. They didn't do no blocks or nothing for someone else to do it again. So I realized then it wasn't going to work. And so I had the opportunity to come back to North Carolina. And when I came back to North Carolina, I still was a store manager at Murphy's, and I was working at Hope Mills. I didn't stay long because I was also transitioning to opening my own fitness studio. A lot of people knew, I was a lot heavier at one time. I lost a whole lot of weight. And so my drive then was just helping people lose weight and, building people's self-esteem and just motivating people, because I was once that person with low self-esteem. I was once that person who needed to lose a lot of weight, and not for health reasons, just because I wanted to lose weight. But while I opened up my studio, I was introduced to the opportunity of life insurance. I'm in a small town, I'm in a small area. The money wasn't all that good, but, it was okay. I knew I needed another stream of income. And so when I was introduced to the opportunity, I took the test. I didn't pass. I took it twice. I didn't pass. Then, I got discouraged, of course. And I got back encouraged, and I took another class under another instructor, and then I went and took the test and passed it. So I passed it on my third try, and ever since then it's been on go. But I will say, when I was in Georgia, it was horrible. I can relate to a lot of single parents because I didn't have the money to do what I needed to do. I was struggling financially. I was robbing Peter to pay Paul. It was times where me and my kids would ride by a fast food restaurant, McDonald's, and they wanted a Happy Meal, but I knew I had $30, $40 to last to the next payday. And I'm like, no, we're going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to make a pot of spaghetti because it's going to last 2 or 3 days till I get paid. So I just knew I never wanted to go back in that light again. I never wanted to go back where I only had $30 to $40 to last me. I mean, even down to, calling because I'm very transparent. So calling my baby father to help me financially, can you send me $25, $30 to help me? And he felt like that wasn't, man, that's not enough. I don't know whether he didn't have it or what, but he just felt like that wasn't enough. And I'm like, look, I don't care. $25, $30 is enough. It will help me get to at least Thursday till I get paid. Just send it. I mean, it's a lot. My story is a lot as far as being a single parent and taking care of my kids and just making sure I do not go back down that path. Never, ever, ever, ever again. I definitely not.
Right. And I know that you had to endure that, and that shows a testament of like really the type of drive and willpower that you got to have to do this, because you always knew that there was something better. And when your life flashes in front of your eyes from a robbery, and you're in a situation where now your car's on bricks and you're riding around with $30 or $40 to get you to the next payday, those are the things that really build your character and your testimony in regards to you can follow somebody who's been through something like that, who now is starting to see themselves through the other side. And so, with that being part of your story, one of the things I want to also ask you, I'll go back to Ms. Daniels for this one. because I know that a lot of people, one of their biggest fears as far as getting into this industry is it being commission only. When you talk to people, one of the first thing they want to say is, is it anything guaranteed? And I'm thinking, like, what's guaranteed? Because if I went for what's guaranteed, I probably would only tell you that the most that I've ever would have been able to make in this industry probably would have been about $150,000 guaranteed. But because of the opportunity to make unlimited income, we are able to expound ourselves to be able to do that. So, Ms. Daniels, I know that you're probably no different, just single mom, and all of the things, obligations that you have. What were your thoughts, or some of your fears about going into a commission only opportunity?
Okay. Well, I've been a single parent for 9 years, and the main thing was other people. I've had people tell me that I need to quit. I need to get a real job. You're only going to get paid, commissions, and so it was scaring the daylights out of me. I was like, well, wait a minute. Maybe I need to rethink this thing, and go get a job. But then I had to think about something when I was struggling, right? And I had to go when I was still working my job and I couldn't pay my bills and things. And I had to go borrow money, and they would, be all in my business and asking all these questions and helping. It was okay, right? But early on, when I was in my business, and I went through my different challenges when I was transitioning, it was a problem. And so I had to realize for myself that the only reason I should be afraid of commissions is if I'm lazy. The only
Right.
reason I should be afraid of commissions is if I don't believe in myself.
Right.
If I'm not going to get up to go to work, because just like my ex employer told me that I was running out of PTO. So once that's gone, if I didn't go to work, what happened? I wouldn't have got paid. Right.
Right.
It's the same thing. And so I really just had to change my mindset and look at it like, you know what, every week I'm given a blank check, and I get to decide what's going to be on it at the end of the week. I know a lot of people who have jobs where overtime, is offered, but they got to be, approved for it and got to work so many hours just to get it. You know what I mean? Versus again, being given a blank check, being able to fill it out, say, well, you know what, this is what I'm worth this week. And so just really, changed my mind, and I had to prove to myself that I could survive. And now I'm 6 years and counting, and even working part-time, I still crush 60,000.
And you know what? And I'm glad you said that. And I want everybody to know the power of a blank check. I want everybody to know the power of a blank check. And I mean, this is just one occasion. Then I'm gonna just say, and Ms. Daniels, if you could, because I'm coming to you next, Ms. Merle. But talk about in a day, what's one of those blank checks that you remember? Like, you went out there and put in the work, and that day, that work that you put in, you was able to, at the end of the day, to be able to see that check stroke for a payday of what? You mind sharing that? What? And I know you had some great ones, but one that you can sure enough remember. What would you say in a day from your efforts that you went out there and created a blank check for yourself for?
I'll just go back to the first time I made over $1,000 in one day.
Right.
Listen, you guys talking about somebody excited, man. I was
Right.
running all around the car.
Right. And I know to your avail, Ms. Merle, that because you had never been in a commission or anything before, and Ms. Daniels talked about some of the fears, but what have you learned about what commission or this type of business can do for you? What has this business of being able to have the opportunity of commissions been able to do for you financially?
Ooh, financially, I now before the insurance, I was like five, and I'm gonna be transparent, about $500-600 comfortably in my account all the time. No matter what, $500 or $600, I can keep that. But now I've got a personal account, I have a business account, I have an emergency account, I have a savings account, and they all have thousands of dollars. Not to boost the brag, but this is the most money I've ever experienced in my whole life. So you just got to go out there and get it. Like, you got to go out there and get it. Like Jay said, you have the opportunity to write your own check. So you just got to go out, get up every day, and go get it.
And I know that last week you were super proud of some of the work that you put in, from some work that you did months ago, because we get paid so many different ways in this industry. We have 4 to 5 different streams of income that you can get paid within our organization by just one product alone. By one product alone, by one service that we offer alone. There, anybody ever still watch their favorite shows on television that was on back in the 80s?
Mm-hmm.
We call them reruns. But every time that rerun is rerun, somebody's getting paid. That's called residual. That's what you get in this industry. You don't get that in real estate unless you own properties. If you're just a real estate agent and you sell that house, the only way you're going to ever be able to get commission from that house if somebody goes and buy another house. So you have to go out and start buying properties, which is a great move, which this business can propel you to be able to start investing into other endeavors, because you start earning cash in one business and start leveraging your cash to start investing in other endeavors. And so I know last week Ms. Merle posted, just from some work that she had did months ago that was residual, and some current ones. Just since she was transparent with everybody else in our group, let them know basically what kind of day that was for you, just in one day.
Okay,
Last week.
so yes, I got paid $2,500 that day. I showed y'all that, but I didn't show y'all the next day. So the next day, I
Right.
got another $1,000 to hit my account. And then, I've just been getting paid literally like almost every day. I got paid $500 Tuesday, got paid another $400 today. So, yeah.
So now here's what I'm doing. I'm giving you all the good stuff, right? So I know a lot of y'all on here is like, oh, okay, well they talking about the good stuff. Now let's switch gears for a second, because I want you all to know that with reward comes risk and sacrifice. So these ladies didn't get to this place without some risk and sacrifice. So now, Ms. Daniels, I want to come to you, because I know we've had a lot of conversations, a lot of moments, but talk about briefly. You don't got to go into it, because I know there's been many times, but talk about some of the ups and downs that you've had in this business, and frankly, a few times when you probably was like, you know what, I might need to do something different. Let's talk about the transparency of really what comes with this type of business, because you are dealing with people, you are learning, you're growing, and you're breaking through those things. So talk briefly about some of the ups and downs.
Yeah, sure. There have been periods of time where I just really struggle with people telling me no. They just didn't want it. I went through a period of time where it seemed like everybody was saying no, and I'm like, I called it. Mr. King was like, "Well, look, I don't know about this. Like, this just might not be working. I might need to try something else." And we had a very candid conversation, and he was like, well, you tried many things. Are you going to always are you going to keep running? Are you tired of starting over? And I'm like, well, dang, yeah, you're right about that. I am getting older. You know what I mean? I'm closer to 40 than 30. So just being out there and going through those no's, and just dealing with people, and then dealing with things from family, because sometimes your family members can be the worst, with in different situations. They mean well, however, sometimes just dealing with family can be very challenging, especially if they don't understand what you're doing or why you're doing it. And so that's been a challenge, saying, well, maybe I should get a job like everybody else. But I had to really do a heart check, and to know that I'm not meant to be like everybody else. Like, I'm determined to be amongst the 1%. So if I gotta go, and grind every single day, then that's what I'm going to do. My daughter's a cheerleader, and so maybe I couldn't make every game, but I wouldn't miss them all. But sometimes I couldn't make them all. That was very challenging. But I had to let them know, but look, let's have a conversation. Let me tell you why I'm doing what I'm doing, because ultimately everything that I do is for them. And so no matter what I go through in business and life and family, I can never look at my children and tell them that they're not worth the blood, sweat, and tears, because they are. You
Right.
know what I mean? They
Right.
are.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, you're going to go through them. Like we don't want to sit here and mislead anybody to talk about all this income, the 6-figure rings, the $50,000 rings, the trips and the vacations and all these things that we do, the lifestyle, without letting you know that the risk that with every reward in this opportunity comes with some risk. You know, I tell everybody, I have a saying that I say that I teach new people that your first 2 years in this business, you're literally in survival mode because you're learning the industry. You're learning the industry. You're learning how to survive the industry. We tell you in 3 to 5 years, money should be the least of your worries. You may not be rich, you may not be wealthy, relatively speaking, but you shouldn't have to worry about how you're going to pay your bills. You shouldn't have to worry about where your money is going to come from because now, after 2 to 3 years, you've gotten in a groove. You've seen about everything that you need to see because it doesn't really change because there's only so many loopholes that people are going to give you. So the first 2 years, you're going to make money. You're going to be earning while you're learning, but you're literally in survival mode. If I can take you back to my first 2 years in this industry and talk to you about some of the payday loan places that I had to switch around my car titles to, and how many months I was behind on my mortgage, and all these different things that I had to do just to get to this place to where the same people that was telling me you need to go get a job, or I'm tired of you asking me for gas money, were the same people that I was stroking checks to when they needed something and telling them they don't have to pay me back. Because it just comes around like that. It's reciprocity. And so when you get into an opportunity like this and you go through some things, that's why I don't take excuses lightly. Like it's very hard for somebody to bring an excuse to me, because until you see the leader get worried, you shouldn't get worried because you're following somebody who's already been through it. So the only time that I get worried is somebody comes to me and tells me something that I've never heard before. I don't know how. I've never heard that before. But there's nothing that has not come my way from individuals in this industry that I have not heard. I may not have experienced it all, but I promise you, I know somebody that has. Now, with that being said, Miss Merle, let's talk about how being connected with me spinning off of that, how being connected with the right team, because there's a lot of things you can do, and there's a lot of agencies out there. There's a lot of insurance companies out there, but I promise you, they're not for everybody. You got to find the right team and agency that buys into that you can buy into their philosophy, and their philosophy matches up with yours. That's big in this industry. That's like dating somebody, and somebody may be an atheist and somebody is a diehard Christian. At some point, there's going to probably be some friction there because their philosophies are different. So you want to be able to line up with people with the right philosophy. So Ms. Merle, talk to us a little bit about by being connected to the right team and the right leadership. How has that helped you evolve?
Well, it has helped me out tremendously because I've never did this before, and so now, whenever I'm out in the field and I'm feeling stuck, or I feel like I'm just going through my nose, and I just feel like I need that extra, every time I call either Mr. King, Jay Daniels, another advisory board member, another mentor, another coach, they have pretty much all been through what I'm going through. So they always seem to be able to pull me back to get my momentum built up, to get me back into the groove. So you definitely, like, this job, this career, this industry is not made for you to do it alone. You got to have your mentors, your coaches. You got to stay plugged in. You got to stay connected. You have to believe in the process. They have already been through what we are going through. So anytime we're feeling stuck, they know exactly what to say. They already been there. They know exactly what to do to help you get back on track and to build your momentum back up. So the leadership, you guys are phenomenal.
Appreciate that. And, it says a lot when you are able to have a group of individuals to be able to follow you and trust the fact of the matter that where you're leading them is right. Because you got to understand, why would your leader gain anything from leading you wrong? Why would they give you advice to do something that's not going to work? How does the leader benefit from that? If we're an organization that's destined to be great by production, by producing, why would we tell anybody to do anything that's going to be non-productive? It's always the way you got to think about it. So you got to trust your leadership because everybody wins. Everybody wins in this game when everybody can be on the same page. So we're getting ready to start bringing this thing to a close. But I do want to talk, Ms. Daniels, real briefly. I got two more things I want to throw at you ladies. You all are doing a phenomenal job sharing tonight your stories and your transparency. I really appreciate that. But I know from day one, we are an organization that we believe in personal growth and development. We are personal development gurus. I like to say sometimes that insurance is nothing more. This opportunity is nothing more but a personal development plan with a compensation plan attached to it. It's a personal development program, and we just so happen to have some ways that you can make some money attached to it. So, Ms. Daniels, talk to us about how, because I know you always, even every book that's been recommended, and now we even are taking your books, and every time you're at the nail salon or you get Drive Time University, we're always talking about new books and reading. Talk to us the importance of how personal development and growth, how that is going to help propel these individuals thinking about getting into this industry. Talk to us a little bit about that and how that's helped you.
Yes, sir. I simply love personal development because I always strive to be the best version of myself. And the only way that I'm going to do that is to keep feeding my mind, so Amazon Prime, I get a lot of my money, because I'm ordering books all the time, every month. But that's how I grow. And the thing is that, even in my personal life, I find that I start quoting things that I read in books because that's what I'm putting inside of me. So it starts to come out. So I'm able to not only help myself, but help my children, help other people. And so I would definitely encourage all of you to read books, because it not only will it help you in business, but it will just help you all around, your everyday, your walk, your everyday life. Just yesterday I was talking to someone, and next thing I know, I was quoting Jim Rohn, because I'm a very competitive person, and we were talking about competing in our different businesses to see who's going to do what. And I was like, you know what, you may be a better salesman than me, but I promise you, I'm going to beat you every time, because I'm going to go talk to more people. Because Jim Rohn said that whatever I lack in skill, I'm going to make up in numbers, right? And so, but that's the kind of thing that happens. And so whenever I'm having a bad day or a bad month, business just isn't going right, then I remember that book, Do It Scared. So you know what, I may not want to pick up the phone and call this person, but I'm going to do it anyway, that kind of thing. But that's what happens with personal development. And and it helps you overcome obstacle. That's another book, The Obstacle is the Way. You know what I mean? And what happens is all of that stuff will just like bubble up out of you, and you'll just become a better overall person. I'm sorry, I get carried away.
No, you're fine. I mean, because that's I love it, because that's lets you know that it's real. You can't draw this up because it's in you. Folks, what's in you is going to come out of you. We don't have to be scripted. I just jotted down a few questions so I can just make sure that I gave you all a lot of substance tonight and just kind of following that. But what's in us is just what's going to come out of us, because we've taken the time to put it and allow it to penetrate through us. So, Ms. Merle, I want to just kind of close things out with you on this. And Ms. Daniels, I want you all to just share briefly, because I want everybody to understand the importance of what this thing can really do for you. And you have to think with the end. You got to think with the end game in mind. You can't think, when you get involved in this industry, you can't think about next. You might start out thinking about the next couple weeks, paying a couple bills, but ultimately, what you got to really be thinking about is what you want the next 5 years to look like. What do you want the next 10 years to look like? What do you want it when your children are through college and when they're graduating? What is it that you want for your family at the end? And so if you can go to the end of your life and start as far as what you want that to look like, that's how you got to see this business. You got to start working with the end in mind. And so these ladies have done a few things that they've been transparent about and talked about. I know Ms. Daniels had posted on her Facebook page the other day that she had an awesome accomplishment because of a lot of it because of her discipline, but a lot of it's because she's been able to be in a financial situation to do it. Ms. Daniels, share with the people what you've been able to accomplish, what a lot of people are looking to accomplish by way of this business being an avenue for you to do that.
Yes, sir. There's been so much that I've been able to accomplish that I couldn't do before. Just from taking my children on long vacations. Here recently, I got my own office space here in Greenville, and then today was my daughter's first day at work. I was able to employ her. That is a blessing in itself. She's really excited. Just being able to teach her new skills that she's going, because she'll be going to college next year, that she can take with her. Just being able to do that, being able to pay all of my bills on the first of every month. That's a blessing. As a single parent, just being able to handle business. Because real quick, as a single parent, for all the single parents, male or female, that are on this Zoom, it does not matter what someone else is or is not doing, because I'm gonna make it rain in my house, right? And that's what every last one of you need to do. It doesn't matter what the other parent is or is not doing. That's just a bonus. But as far as me and my house, we're gonna make some money. Okay.
Awesome. And you're doing a fantastic job, man. I just remember last when we had the Miami event, and you took an extended vacation, and you took your children, and you all were in Orlando, I believe it was, and you was there for a certain amount of days, and we had a transition for our event in Miami. You said, well, hey, instead of me flying back home, dropping my kids off, or driving back home, let me just catch a flight or rent a car and bring my kids with me. So you all was vacation up on Orlando and Miami just not even a year ago, last summer, as a matter of fact, and didn't skip a beat. Didn't skip a beat. So I just want to say hats off to you. You're doing a phenomenal job, and I know your children are very proud. Miss Merle, talk to us a little bit. I know basically you're getting ready to do something that's simply amazing. You've been talking about it. You've been gearing up for it, and just share with us basically what you get ready to, what accomplishments and things that you're having with some financial things, credit, and all those things. Talk to us a little bit about what this business has allowed you to get in order.
Well, first and foremost, it has allowed me to get my finances in order. Being able to save the money, to learn how to build my credit score. I'm in the process now of getting my house built from the ground up. Finally got the land spot cleared off. So yes, like that's where I'm at, Mr. King. Like my ending goal is I just want to live in the country with my daddy. My kids are going to go off to college and do their thing. I'm going to be home. I'm going to have my house built from the ground up. We're going to have a bowling alley out there, and we're going to have some cows and some horses, and I'm just going to be there with my daddy, and we're going to ride this thing out. I'm going to have an agency full of insurance agents, and look, we're going to get this. We're going to get it popping. So, I plan on working harder at working smarter.
I wonder where you heard that before. Good stuff. Good stuff. Listen, the only thing that I would just say to you all is that in closing, first of all, thank you all so much. If I was to say why FGL, folks, and I'll kind of close out with this. First generation life, we're more like a family. Yes, we literally watch people's kids grow up. We go to people's family members' funerals. We support. We do those things as a family. We help you through the grind where you don't get this. You don't get this feeling in corporate America. You're not going to get this on your job, where somebody literally is saying, I want to mentor you to make six figures if you want it. I want to mentor you to double your income if you want it. And guess what? Without most of this being with no strings attached, because most of the help that you're getting, a lot of these individuals in our organization, they don't even benefit directly, but indirectly we benefit because we all are winning. We're all a winning. So that's why you should choose FGL. Why now? Why not? We're in a recession-proof opportunity. Think about it. The country is in odds right now. People don't know what they're doing job-wise, but guess what? We have not skipped a beat. People that we serve, the market that we serve, they still get their checks on the 1st, 5th, the 15th, the 20th of every month. There's still people, our phones are ringing more now. People are more open now to the ideal of being able to have cash flow policies by way of final expense, because we typically get you started in final expense, and we have advanced markets that you can branch out in. We have advanced market specialists. We have advisory board members. So you don't have to worry about leaving any money on the table, but people are hungry right now, not only to be able to protect and take care of their families, but they're looking for an opportunity. They're looking for an opportunity to get out of the rat race. And the last thing is, why not bet on yourself? Listen, folks, if you can't bet on yourself, who do you expect to bet on? Like if somebody went to Vegas and said, hey, how much can I put on you? Think about this. If somebody told you, for all the ladies, single parents, or somebody that you love, if somebody came up to you and said, I'm going to snatch the person that you love, and I'm giving you 6 months to turn your life around and at least have $50,000 in the bank from your efforts of hard work, or you'll never see this person again. Would you bet on yourself that you will see that person again? And if you're shaking your head yes, then you've just answered yourself to why this is the best opportunity of a lifetime for you. Because that's all this is. This is giving you the opportunity to bet on yourself. Folks, I don't know how much easier it can be, not making light of it, for you to be able to sit on a cell phone in front of a laptop and have a conversation with somebody about something that they need anyway. And the company does your payroll, your processing, and makes your advance deposits. All you got to do is go out there and do that process again. So for those of you who are looking to get started, say, okay, I hear you. How can I get started? But guess what? Ms. Daniels, come off the line. For those that are in the North Carolina area, in our particular area, we have a couple different ways that we can help you with the licensing process. There is a licensing process. You have to be willing to get your North Carolina license. It's like I said earlier, it's a 2-day class if you're doing it in class with an instructor, or you can do it online, on demand. If you do it online, we can work with you. We will be willing, if you do it online, because we know it takes a little bit longer, but we'll be willing to put some skin in the game. It's typically $199 to take the class online, but we're going to put some skin in the game. We're going to pay $169 of $60 of that. You're expected to pay the other $39 if you're going to do it online. We're going to help you with that. We're going to put some skin in the game because we know everybody may not be able to make the class. But for those of you who said, I need to get licensed and I'd rather go in a class and knock it out in 2 days, study, go take my state examination, get my backgrounds done, and show me how to get this money. Ms. Daniels, talk to them about our next upcoming classes where they can go ahead and register to get going.
Yes, sir. So we have classes coming up August the 29th and the 30th from 8 to 5, as well as September 12th through the 13th, also 8 to 5 in Garner. And I believe the address is 893 US Highway 70 West, I believe, in Garner, North Carolina at the First Generation Life office. And I will say that this instructor is awesome. He has a 95% pass rate. Okay. And so, this last class, even though I'm already licensed, I sat through it. And so I can tell you that he is definitely a good instructor. And so, once you go through the class, then you will take, no more than 2 weeks to study. Whoever invited you, I'm sure they'll help you prepare and get ready to take your state exam. You go and take that state exam. And, once you pass that, we'll get you rolling. But I want to encourage you. I'm glad that Miss Merle had pointed out that she took it more than once. But as you can see, it was worth it. Okay. So whether you pass it on the first time or like my millionaire friend that took it about 5 or 6 times, it is definitely worth it to stay the course. Okay. Because it'll literally change your life. It really will. And so, once you're licensed by the state, then we'll talk to you about next steps and get you rolling with First Generation Life. We are the best and we're excited.
Listen, ladies, I need y'all to do me a favor. I need y'all to come off of mute. And give these ladies a big shot. If you got something out of this tonight, I just need everybody to come off mute and say, go ahead, ladies. Go ahead, ladies. I need y'all to come off mute real quick. Go ahead, ladies.
Yes.
Go ahead, ladies.
Awesome.
Hey,
Great job,
listen.
ladies.
Yeah, we are the best. You are coming a part of one of the fastest growing organizations. I promise you. there's going to be so many millionaires created in this organization because of the momentum and the opportunity that we have. You cannot lose in this industry when you get with the right team at the right time with the right organization. The only ingredient that you're missing is what kind of work you're going to be willing to put in. Hopefully tonight has been a platform for you all to see that you all are no different than us. We just took advantage of the opportunity and somebody hasn't been able to offer it to you the way that we have as of yet. But if you're looking to join, get back with the person that invited you on this Zoom call tonight. Let's have the conversation. Join us on our recruiting, First Generation Life recruiting page. We put a lot of information up there to keep you up to date, up to speed, to keep you engaged until you get through the licensing process, because we want to be there to support you and hold your hand throughout the process so we can make sure that the baby bird can leave the nest. Thank you all so much for joining us. Let's go get this money. We don't want to see you at the top, but over the top. Good night, FGL. Let's go get it. Executive Vice President checking out.
Good job, ladies.
Good night. Good job, ladies. How about